Mr. Concrete, your hearing was set for 1.
Yes.
We're done with business. Were you ready to go now? Or want a 15-minute break, or you just want to keep going? Let's roll. Ready?
Yep.
All right. All right, Mr. Concrete, you're free to sit there or approach the podium if you want to. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is update the court on what has transpired since the January 2020 hearing, in which Mr. Concrete was trespassed from Marsh County Parks for a period of 3 years. That trespass period is up at the end of this week, so this is a hearing to determine whether or not his ban from Marsh County Parks will continue beyond that 3-year period. So that's what we're here on. So prior to the criminal mischief trial of Mr. Concrete on January 28, 2022, which when that trial took place, he was afforded the opportunity to have his prohibition from entering the park lifted and charges dismissed if he would simply sign an agreement stating that he would follow the rules of the park. He declined to sign this agreement and insisted on going to a trial. At the criminal trial, the evidence presented to the jury included, but was not limited to, the following. Jessica Treese, a current 911 dispatcher and former employee of the Marsh County Park System, testified that on November 4th, 2019, she observed Mr. Concrete inside Miller Park standing near a running water spigot at closing time around 10 p.m. Treese stated that Mr. Concrete stood there for approximately 7 to 8 minutes with the water running, and that you were not using any of the water for any purpose. Treese stated that when Mr. Concrete saw her, he took off running away from her. Treese stated on the morning of November 10th, 2019, she reported to Miller Park as part of her routine duties and observed that multiple water spigots had been turned on and left running all night, causing flooding at various areas within the park. Treese testified that all the spigots were running wide open when she arrived that morning, and flooding was visible around the areas of those spigots. Treese authenticated 2 photographs she took that morning depicting the flooding near the entrance to the park, which were introduced as Commonwealth's Exhibit 1 and 2. Treese affirmatively testified that the flooding was not due to normal morning dew and that there had been no rain the night before or that morning. Therefore, the areas near the spigots were the only areas that had been flooded. Brittany Hargrove, director of Marsh County Parks, also testified at the trial. Hargrove stated that she also observed the 2 exhibit photographs regarding the flooding. She also testified extensively as to the problems that this either caused the park or could have caused the park, which include the following. Soil and grass erosion around the areas being flooded, inability to properly maintain those areas with routine groundskeeping, water wasted and the accompanying money wasted from the park having to pay for that wasted water, inherent damage caused to the pavement from running water, the dangers of water freezing for both pedestrian and vehicle traffic because this had occurred in late November, and dangers to both people and property due to the soaked grass and grounds because at this particular time the park staff was installing Christmas lights with electrical wiring all over the park. The last witness to testify was Sheriff Matt Hilbrick of the Sheriff's Office. He stated that he conducted an interview with Mr. Concrete regarding the allegations made against him. The sheriff testified that he unequivocally admitted that he was the individual who had both turned the water spigots on and left them running. He also stated that Mr. Concrete had admitted to doing this multiple times, and at no point during the interview did he deny that he was the person responsible for these acts. Sheriff Hilbrick also stated that Mr. Concrete told him that it was not his responsibility to turn the water off since he was not an employee of the park. Sheriff Hilbrick also testified that at one point Mr. Concrete asked Mr. Concrete if he would just simply agree to cease this behavior and simply stop leaving the spigots running continuously. Per Sheriff Hilbrick's testimony, which was a recorded interview, Mr. Concrete stated that he would not agree to do so. Upon hearing this evidence, the jury convicted Mr. Concrete of criminal mischief 3rd degree, a Class B misdemeanor for his criminal acts in the park. The Marshall District Court then placed certain conditions upon him as part of his sentence, which he is still under to this day. One of those conditions is he is not to be on any park property as ordered by the Marshall County Fiscal Court. Since that time, he filed an appeal of his criminal conviction, which was denied, and then also filed a request for the Court of Appeals to hear his case, which was also denied. Mr. Concrete has furthermore continued to post videos on YouTube, one which refers to Brittany Hargrove as 007 Park Boss, degrading interviews toward Ms. Hargrove. In short, for the past several years, Mr. Concrete has basically shown no remorse for his actions, nor has he shown any willingness that he would abide by park rules, even if given access. In addition, park staff continue to state to this day that they do not feel safe or comfortable with him having access to the park.
Hey, it's Anthony with Anthony's Lawn Care and Landscaping, and this is just a friendly reminder to
having access to the park. That's an update. What's transpired since our last hearing. So, Mr. Concrete, now it's your opportunity to speak to the fiscal court.
What rules did I break again?
This is your opportunity to speak to the fiscal court.
Mr. Darnell, I didn't break any rules at this park.
You were convicted of a misdemeanor.
My turn to talk, I thought you said?
You asked me a question.
Yeah, but
you were
said my
convicted
turn
of a misdemeanor for vandalism in the county park.
I was.
Yes.
Yeah, in district court?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you proved that I was at the county park. Good job. Proud of you.
The jury convicted you, Mr. Concrete.
I asked Brad Warning last week for a complaint form. I didn't get a complaint form. Is there a complaint form available for county employees?
This is your time to speak
I'm
to the
asking
fiscal
Mr.
court.
Spraggs, not you. Mr.
Okay.
Spraggs, is there a complaint form for employees?
Going to refer that to Jason.
Jason, is there a complaint form for county employees? I've looked on the website. The only thing I can find is E911 complaint forms. I'm looking for just an employee complaint form.
Do you understand why you're here?
I'm here requesting a complaint form, Jason.
No, you're here to request, if you're asking to be allowed back on park property. Is that the reason why you're here?
I was trespassed from the park for 3 years.
Do you want to be back on park property?
I was trespassed from the park for 3 years.
Do you want to be back on park property? Yes or no?
I was trespassed in the park for 3 years.
Okay.
For nothing. Nothing I did wrong.
You were convicted of a crime, Mr. Concrete.
No.
Yes, you were.
You convicted me of being at the park. There is
You
a
were
difference
convicted of a
between
crime.
When you know everybody in the court system, it works out in your favor most of the time. But either way, I was trespassed for 3 years. What more are you going to punish me with for what? Nothing.
You're still under probation.
I still done nothing at the park though.
You
I
were
went
convicted.
to the park and I
You were
followed the rules.
convicted, Mr. Concrete.
I've been
Your
going.
conviction was upheld on appeal twice.
All right, back to the complaint form. I've requested a complaint form.
That has no relevance to this.
Yes, it does.
No, it does not. Move on, move on.
Brittany wrote an email to somebody, says, nope, Dad said he's giving me a gun tonight. Just call me 007 Park Boss with her hand cover. And that means, oops, I took it to the Marshall County Sheriff Department. They refused.
That has no relevance to this case. Move on.
This has all the relevance to do with this case.
The issue is whether or not.
Threatened me with a gun. And
Okay,
the court
it's going to
system
be a really,
refused to do anything
it's going to
about
be a really short hearing unless you follow the rules, okay? The issue is whether or not, if you're allowed back on the park property, you will follow park rules.
I've already
That's-
followed the park rules.
You were convicted of a crime and it was affirmed.
I've already followed park rules.
Okay, so now is your opportunity to tell the court why they should let you back on park property.
I mean, I'm no more a citizen than anybody else in this county that should be allowed at the park, or anybody else in this country should be allowed at this park. It's a public park. It's open to anybody to come enjoy it. There are no written rules. I've searched and searched for written rules. There are a few written rules, but they're very vague. They don't go in very many detail, but there are no actual rules that I broke of this park. And Jason's going up and over and saying I broke some rules, and there are none. So yes, I will follow all the rules of the park, just as I always have. I've done it for many years at this park. I've followed the rules for years and years. So I don't know. I've been trespassed for 3 years for nothing already. And now, what, you want to trespass me some more? I mean, I've been following the rules all my life at that park. I've not ever broke a rule. The only rules I see at this park is no skateboards, no bicycles in the basketball court, and there's a big old list of rules for the splash pad. There is a rule list on the Marshall County website about this park, but none of them rules did I break. There's none of them rules listed that I did anything wrong. In fact, I was there enjoying the park. I go to the park and run, just like you, Jason. We run together, don't we? We enjoy going out and running. But, you know, park's right in my backyard. I can go over anytime to run, safe little area to run. But you keep trespassing me for none of these rules. It's like you're just out to retaliate against me.
Okay, for the 15th time, you were convicted of a misdemeanor crime inside the park. Are you forgetting that?
No.
Okay.
I got aware that you convicted me of being at the park for the 15th time. I was at the park at the 15th time. I was enjoying the park. I wasn't breaking any rules at the park.
You committed a crime in the park.
I wasn't committing any crime at the park.
You were convicted of a crime.
You got any evidence on that?
It was presented to the
you got
jury,
any evidence
affirmed
on that?
on appeal twice.
Do you got any evidence on that?
Yes, it was
Can you
presented
show me
to a
the
Marshall
evidence of the
County
crime?
grand jury.
Can you show the evidence of the crime?
I already did. You were convicted.
I'm still looking for the evidence, though.
You were convicted at trial.
Well, a lot of county attorneys convict people, and it's not true.
You have anything else to say?
No, that's
All right.
it. I just like to, you know, I do have something else to say. I would like a list of the park rules, because the only list I have found is on the website and at the park posted.
We'll get them to you.
What about everybody else, not just me?
You're the one asking for them.
Right.
We'll
And
get
then
them
I
to
had
you.
one other, I've asked Brad several times about this, gun laws in the park. Used to have a sign said no
We're
guns.
not talking, that's no relevance to this matter.
It's about the park.
It has no relevance to
It's
this
about a
case.
rule of the park.
Anything else you got to say?
Yes, the rules of the park of the gun laws. Am I allowed to pack my gun in the park?
Anything else you
Is
got to say?
anybody else allowed to pack
Okay,
a gun?
we're
in the
done.
park?
We're done. We're done.
Hard to break rules when you're following them. Isn't it?
All right, that's it.
Well,
Anything else?
You know, there's all kinds of stuff here, but it'll take a while. I just want some written rules, and I want everybody to follow the rules, not just
We're going to get you the rules. We're going to get you the
Not
rules.
just me. What about everybody else to follow the rules?
You're the one asking, we'll get you the rules.
Well, I don't
Anything
want to
else?
ask for the rules. I want
Anything else?
everybody to follow the rules.
Anything else? Anything else?
No?
Okay,
Have a good day.
you too.
We'll see you in the woods.
What does that mean?
We both enjoy the activities outdoors, don't we? I'll see you in the woods.
Is that a threat?
Nope, we don't threat around here. See you in the woods.
Better be really careful what you say, Mr. Conklin.
See you in the woods.
You need a motion?
What's
So it's based upon what we've heard, again, he has shown no remorse for any of his actions, nor shown any willingness that he would abide by the park rules if given access. Therefore, it's my recommendation that he be trespassed again until at least the probationary period ends in his criminal case, which will be January 28th, 2024. So he's already on probation. He continues to be on probation through Marshall District Court with a ban through that action. So it makes sense that this court would do the same through at least that time period.
Make a motion to be trespassed until January 28th, 2024.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
So at the end of that period, you can once again request to be granted access, and we'll see if you have a change of attitude at that point.
I don't have an attitude, Jason.
Okay. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.